Woo! Good morning. It is Metabolism Monday. How is your metabolism? Mine's not doing too good. Can I have a pity party for a minute? Yes, set it to all chat because we are live and shit. We are live and shit. Speaking of shit, I did a lot of shit talking about the OSU game versus Utah. I taunted our friend, two Boston moms, for days. Assholes. OSU lost. I was after I can't tell you how many people about OU versus Tennessee. OU lost by 10 with our second string. Okay? With our second string. Now, it's a sad day in Oklahoma when you say, well, at least TU won. At least TU won. Yeah, you beat Louisiana Tech. They teach people there how to change tires. Gotta be kidding me. Yep. So yesterday, I was on a football strike. I said to DT driver, fuck football. I don't want to see it. I'm too pissed. And the only time I complain about referees is when my team loses. You know why? Because I'm a sore loser. Greg's team lost. Syracuse lost to Stanford. Now, how the hell do you lose to Stanford? Come on. Yeah, it's a sad day in Oklahoma. Dogs were getting kicked. Domestic violence was through the roof. Lots of meth labs. Telling you what, that's what happens in Oklahoma. I'm telling you. Lots of alcohol being drunk. Telling you, it's crazy. You could hear it all over the place. You could hear it. You could hear people screaming, what the fuck? And I'm just sitting there like, yeah. Tell you what. We did get our Halloween decorations put up. Thanks to DT Driver. I did plug them in, though. So I'll give myself a pat on the back for that one. Let's take a second and tell everyone hello. Missed you over the weekend. Welcome your neighbor and just say, howdy. I'm glad you're here. Two Boston moms, says Brooks. I do hope OSU beats BYU, though. Probably not going to happen, two Boston moms. I'm going to tell you why. Cowboys and Mormons don't really get along. And on top of that, Gundy spends more time working on his mullet and his spray tan than he does the team. So, last Monday, we spoke about Summer Wells. I really want to keep Summer's name out there. I do understand that the views have dwindled. I do understand that people say there's nothing to talk about. Well, she's missing. She is missing. Okay? People should not give up on her. I understand there's a lot of stuff going on with Sebastian's case. So much I can't keep up with it. I saw part of that mess between Jennifer Coffindaffer and Dog the Bounty Hunter. And even for my uneducated mind, because I'm not former law enforcement, I'm not a bounty hunter, none of the shit they were saying made sense. But I can tell you right now, this makes sense because look at this. Zach Walker, new father, gorgeous family. Look what he just did. He's gifting memberships. Y'all get your umbrellas. Thank you, Zach. You are such an amazing supporter of this channel. You guys keep this boat afloat, should I say. Let's go to your comments from last Monday. Remember, if I showcase your comment, send me an email, and you could win a prize. Axeman Gang said it is a comfort that the boys are in a far better environment and never will go back to that unhealthy environment. Hopefully someday the answer for little Summer will be found. As for Don and Candace, they can drink and drug themselves silly. I don't care. Woo! Axeman, I see why that's your name. Anna D. Haven't seen Anna D in a while. It seems like she's been catching the replay. Anna D, come say hi. She says, Can't has some nerve to say she is just trying to make it for her children on her channel. Where's the cuffs? Love you too. Love one another. Love you too. Well, let's take a little sneak peek at what she's been doing on her channel. Okay. Let's see. Right here, they went to a car show. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. Right there. Yep. Their people are just right there looking at the cars and everything with her. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not saying that parents of missing children should be having a good time at the car show, but we have to admit they're cut from a different cloth. Now look at this. She found a wildcat. Do not forget that our Can't is scared of the woods. She's scared of the woods. She's scared of snakes and bears and coyotes. She's scared of it. She's scared of it, okay? But she has a feral cat in her house.
It's the perfect ride. Gear with your family to the game.
Yeah, I got it.
The Toyota Camry. And if you really want to knock it out of the park, check out the all-new Toyota Tacoma and the all-new bold new designs and
Don's not a very good producer, okay? He's not. You don't let a feral cat in your house around other animals. You got to take them to the vet. Anyone feel bad for the cat? And I don't know what the hell Don is doing since he turned the camera weird.
It's in stock at Toyota Bristol. Hundreds of new Toyotas. Plus the best financing, excellent service today. It's a grand slam.
That thing's gonna scratch her the hell up. She says it's a wild stray cat. Seems to me it's pretty tame. It doesn't seem feral. If you've ever been around a feral cat, well, if you know, you know.
What are you doing over there?
She said, "Don't bite me, bitch." Listen to her. Of course, their TV's playing in the background. Don't bite me, bitch. See, she does as good with animals as she does with children. Don't bite me, bitch. It's probably Jody Sue's cat.
Oh. WXPQ has 10 questions. You have 60 seconds to answer. It's the WXPQ win it.
Are we private now? Are we cool now?
I agree with Ilyanka. She said the cat or Can't is in heat. Because look at how Can't's all turned up for Dawn. Dawn's got the video camera. She's in prime shape. Probably washed in the last week or so. She's ready. She's like, come get me, Donnie. Come get me. I agree, Ilyanka.
29 WXBQ.
Hey, come out. Hey,
Tell your old man to do some more. You just got too much on your plate to pay the cash around. You can always put a rain check in his hand.
Nobody will let her out.
Keep putting off forever with that girl whose heart you hold. I swear that you'll last someday further down the road.
Okay, this is upsetting my cat. And Dawn's got nothing better to do than film her playing with a wild cat. We've heard what Dawn has done with cats before. We've heard what he's done. He fed one to a dog because they didn't have any dog food. All right? Pat said, wow, they have flooring now. Yeah, because Cam and Allie raised all that money to get him a floating floor. They even have a bathroom door. They have a staircase that now goes into the dungeon. They have a lot going on. Someone's missing a cat.
You can always put it down on if you got a chance,
Yeah, that's so bad.
take it when you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it. 'Cause your dream won't chase you back. You're gonna love somebody. Hold on as long and strong and strong.
Are we turning now? Cool now? That's the first time her coming in the house.
It is. Wow.
Dawn is so loving. She's like, it's the first time it came in the house. He goes, yeah. Wow.
She used to be really scared. Earlier.
What
Kitty, what are you doing?
Check out the puppy. You know that puppy's over in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, such loving people. Such loving people. My goodness. Radio gods, you're loving. Member for 9 months. Thank you. If you're not a member, grab a membership. You're going to like it here. You are. This shit infuriates me. That cat would be better outside. And she's like, oh, wants to see the puppy, but the puppy that's chained up because you don't want it to get pregnant? No, I don't think so. No. No. And I think it's damn sick. In my opinion. In my opinion, we have to keep saying that on YouTube so we don't get crazy letters from attorneys. I think it's damn sick that there's animals around them. They don't take care of their children, which is an innate instinct to take care of your children. It's secondhand nature. We just know to take care of our children. We might roll our eyes. We might go, holy shit. They really want to eat again. They seriously put their clean clothes back in the hamper instead of putting them back up, but we still take care of our children. We have some stuff to go through today, my friends. Butterfly Kisses, member for 18 months. That's what I'm talking about. Love you, girlfriend. But this is how they take care of their children. Yes, Summer is missing. I don't know if they have anything to do with it or not. I have no idea. I know that they have a very bad track record as far as taking care of children. A very bad track record. And if the state of Tennessee had charged them with neglect and endangerment, they wouldn't have even had the option to sign over their rights. But they didn't, and the statute's up now.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there, and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald Wells spoke on camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please, let Summer be okay, and please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells.
Are we still supposed to believe that there are two children in Tennessee whose parents don't know shit about shit? She went into the basement to play. The basement door was unlocked, and she was just gone. We have the case of Sebastian Rogers, where we're led to believe that his phone was plugged in the kitchen. Makes no sense to me because kids would want to keep their phone plugged in their room. But hey, that's what Seth said. I wasn't there. And that he just wandered off into the night with no shoes on. And that's all they know. That's all they know.
Please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have.
Some bad person grabbed her, but that's all we know. But that's not what the FBI card unit said. Now, I do understand the new agent is looking at abduction, but he already has the evidence from the FBI card unit.
Have covered leads on area sex offenders and drug addicts.
We're trying to think, beat our brains out. We've covered everything that we can think of already.
All right, I have never liked him saying this. We're trying to beat our brains out. Now we know because I saw the text. That Candace sent to one of her former friends about a hammer hitting Summer. Here's Dawn saying, we're beating our brains out. Does anyone find that odd to even say that? He's also brought up torture, basements, locked up. Real Rockin' Robin, thank you for being a member for 17 months. Thank you, GB, for gifted memberships. Our girl Pat K, hashtag WWPD. Thank you for gifting a membership. Not trying to upset anyone, but this is what he is saying, not me.
We're trying to think, beat our brains out. We've covered everything that we can think of already.
Investigators say they have followed up on 85 tips so far. Wells says he is overwhelmed by the massive numbers of personnel on site.
We just really appreciate everybody trying to help that they have, law enforcement and all these volunteers that are here. never seen anything like this in my entire life.
That was John Janko reporting those sentiments shared by Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, who said he has never seen a show of public support like this in his 4 decades of law enforcement.
Yeah, today the TBI and Sheriff Lawson said Summer's family does continue to cooperate in this ongoing search for the little girl.
I don't know why that guy, the news anchor, stumbled over that sentence. I think he was told something else on the backside. And so he stumbles over they continue to cooperate when we know in March of 2022, Ronnie Lawson said, no, they're not cooperating. We know that Pruitt said we're trying to get the line of communication going with them again. We know that Don in June of 2024 said, haven't talked to law enforcement in a year. But he's got time to talk to news crews, which, hey, it's his prerogative to advocate for his daughter as he wants. But the best way to do it is with law enforcement. It is. Of course, that's my opinion. Okay, 2 Boston moms said, I know Hunter was a minor at the time, but I still think he knows a lot more than he's saying. I do too, and I just don't think that his father is really helping with it. Matter of fact, yesterday, Andrew decided to get married in his backyard. Y'all have time for this?
I have no internet. Oh, we are live. All the way around.
All right, I'm going live on her camera.
Hey, somebody go tell mom.
Okay, so when we do the wedding part, we're gonna be
Yeah.
facing this way.
Yeah, basically I'll be standing here once she comes out.
Well, we got to set the camera.
Yeah.
You would think that he's got other things to do than this spectacle. Listen, I'm not, down in Gloversville, New York. I'm just wondering, does anyone around there sell suits or a dress? I don't know what the hell's going on here.
We're facing everybody over there.
All right, push the button.
You ready?
You ready?
I'm here.
Same over there.
Yeah, put your pop down. What the fuck is going on here? She comes up the driveway. I thought they were already married. Is this some sort of recommitment ceremony?
Just go walking down. Right there.
We are gathered here today to celebrate one of life's greatest moments, the joining of 2 hearts. In the ceremony today, we'll be witnessing the joining of Elisa and Andrew in marriage.
Why is the minister wearing a hoodie? Why?
Today we have come together to witness the joining of 2 lives for them out of their routine and ordinary life. Extraordinary has happened.
Does she know she's remarrying the guy that put lice treatment on her daughter's head? And then afterward, took stuff from the Dollar Tree to try to dye their head pink and blue. And the rumor is he's going to be a daddy again.
They met each other, fell in love, and are finalizing it with their wedding today. Romance is fun, but true love is something far more, and it is their desire to love each other for life. That is what we are celebrating here today. But today is also a celebration for the rest of us, for it is a pleasure for us to see love and love bloom and to participate in the union of two people so delightfully, simply suited to and for one another. A good marriage must be created.
Yes, this is Hunter's dad. This is what he did yesterday. Chris Marie said, Brooks, I'm in New York, probably 25 minutes from where they're at. It's not a very clean place, Gloversville. That's what I've heard. I just don't think Andrew needs to procreate anymore. For one, it's irresponsible. He has habits that aren't conducive with raising a child. And, you know, you got to have a job. Okay? You got to have a job.
In marriage, little things are big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It is remembering to say, I love you at least once a day. It is never going to sleep angry. It is standing together and facing the world. It is speaking words of appreciation, demonstrating gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is having the capacity.
Look at the comments. Is this in the driveway? Yeah, it is. Then this Tina has a Pina says a gift for the happy couple.
Capacity to forgive and forget. It is giving each other an atmosphere in which each other can grow. It is a common search for the good and the beautiful. It is not only marrying the right person, it is being the right partner. Face each other and hold hands. Elisa, repeat after me. I, Elisa, take one Andrew to be my husband, my partner in life, and my one true love. I will cherish our friendship and love you today, tomorrow, and forever. I will trust and honor you. I will laugh with you and cry with you. I will love you faithfully through the best and the worst, the difficult and the easy, whatever may come. I will.
Where's the bride? We're seeing the back of the minister. We get a glimpse of the guests in the driveway and the wedding party. Why can't we see the bride? We saw her coming down the driveway or the alley.
Always be there. Andrew, repeat after me. I, Andrew, take Elisa to be my wife, my partner in life, and my love, one true love. I will cherish our friendship. I love you today, tomorrow, and forever. I will trust and honor you. I will laugh with you, cry with you. I will love you faithfully through the best and the worst, the difficult and the easy, whatever may come. I will always be there. Elisa and Andrew, I would ask that you always treat yourself and each other with respect and remind yourself often of what brought you together today. Elisa, do you take Andrew to be your lawful wedding husband?
I do.
Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, protect him, and be faithful to him?
I do.
Andrew, do you take Elisa to be
Okay, never mind. She's on the right.
Your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect her and be faithful to her?
I do.
And Andrew, do you promise to take out the trash, to pick up your clothes, and most importantly, do you promise to love her even when she is cranky?
I do.
She's never cranky. Come on, Gordon. She's never cranky. She always wakes up on the right side of the bed.
Okay. Right out of push tail.
Now we're gonna do the ring exchange.
So Andrew has to take out the trash and love her when she's cranky. All right, here we go. Hopefully someone zooms in on the rings.
We're gonna start with Elisa.
I told you the girls were doing it.
Oh, no, Elisa's gonna be doing it. I, Elisa,
Hi, Lisa.
take thee, Andrew,
Take me, Andrew,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
in sickness and health,
in sickness and health,
for richer for poor,
for richer for poor.
in joy and sorrow.
I would have left out the for richer or poorer. That's just me, though. I would have left that whole thing out.
And joy and sorrow.
And I promise my love to you,
And I promise my love to you.
and with this ring,
And with this ring,
I take you as my husband,
I take you as my husband
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall live. Really, now my finger ain't there.
It's a long time, guys.
It is.
Good man. Andrew, repeat after me. I, Andrew,
See, I'm not one.
take thee, Elisa,
Take thee, Elisa,
to be my wife,
to be my wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
in sickness and health,
sickness and health,
for richer for poor,
for richer for
in joy and sorrow.
joy and sorrow.
And I promise my love
I promise my love
to you, and with
to you and with
this ring,
this ring.
I take you as my wife,
Take you as my old lady
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall live.
Elisa and Andrew, to make your relationship work, you'll take love and patience. This is the core of your marriage and why you are here today. It will take trust to know that in your hearts, you truly want what's best for each other. It'll take dedication and to stay open to one another and to learn and grow together. It will take faith to go forward together without knowing exactly what the future brings. And it will take commitment to hold true to the journey you both have pledged today. So by the power vested in me, by God, the state of New York, and by the Universal Life Church, I now...
The fuck's the Universal Life Church? State of New York, I get what's the Universal Life Church. My goodness. I think Greg and I are going to get married in the backyard. Yeah. Our 10-year anniversary. We planned on, taking a vacation, but I think we're just going to get drunk with our neighbors and I'll try to fit into my wedding dress.
For not true husband and wife. You, Andrew, may now kiss your wife.
I don't want to hear no fish fighting back here now.
Oh, there will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to, for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Andrew.
Hello. I got Caitlin.
You're welcome. I'm lazy. You come to me.
Andrew, are you not talking all you?
Okay, that was the bridesmaid. Okay, so who he's walking with the pants on and the Crocs, that's his wife. Now that the minister's out of the way, I'd rather see the couple. That's just how I am.
Hello. I got Caitlin.
You're welcome. I'm lazy. You come to me.
Andrew, are you not talking all you? I get it.
I want to get a picture of you with her.
She's got on Crocs and sweatpants. What the fuck?
Get a picture? Give me a picture of all three of you. I tried when I started my workshop. Oh, he's over here playing.
Thank you. All right. Shoot. We got to check on the heart.
Andrew. I'm going to send you all the pictures, but I'm also posting.
Bye.
Just say that's not fun. I'll try guys on the same page.
Is it ended?
No, it's not.
Well, my goodness. Thank you for sharing that with us. So when people ask what's going on with Hunter, that's pretty much it right now. His dad got married in the driveway yesterday. And that's pretty much it. But there are some people that are still keeping Summer Wells' name out in the media. And by the way, if he posts anything, I'll watch the reception. Let me tell you what, I'll pop popcorn and I'll watch that shit. He posts anything about the honeymoon, no way. No friggin' way. I'm not watching that shit.
I'm Vinnie Politan. The subject of my investigation is the disappearance of a 5-year-old little girl from Tennessee. Her name is Summer Wells. And what makes this one so puzzling.
Pat K has a question. Did Hunter ever become a dad? No, it turns out that the twins that she was carrying, his girlfriend, it turned out to not be true. Andrew, being so eloquent, said on his channel they didn't know why she was gaining weight, and he said it was a cum belly. And I just thought that was one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my life. So no.
Is that it happened in the middle of the day from her home when there were adults at the house. Here's her story.
Thank you, Vinny, for putting it in a nutshell. In the middle of the day with adults present. Adults present. Grandis was there. Candace was there. I don't know where Dawn was. Candace texted her friend Jenna and said Dawn was home. Then she says to other people, I don't know where Donnie was that day.
5-year-old Summer Wells was growing up in rural northeastern Tennessee, a beautiful part of the country where nature runs free and folks own lots of land, free of crowds, buildings, and neighbors. Summer was living with her parents and siblings and grandma in a home on top of a hill, a place that seems very peaceful, very quiet, and most of all, very safe. But one June day in 2021, her family says she went inside and was never seen or heard from again, seemingly vanishing from this vast property in Hawkins County. There are
11 acres. It takes a while to go see your neighbor. Hold on. Meme Jean, I think H's girlfriend just had gas. Well, that's what she said. Anytime I had gas, a baby popped out 9 months later, but hey, whatever. Whatever they want to do, obviously they don't understand. But you're talking about an extremely, extremely rural area. They're up on top of a hill. Anyone that has tried to get up that hill had issues driving up it. Not talking walking. They had issues driving up it. There's junk everywhere. Even with all the people that have helped them clean it up. It looks 10 times better now. They're living in a freaking mansion now compared to what they were living in 2021. The question is, how long is this going to continue until someone speaks up? Someone. Somebody knows more. And it is disgusting that that reward went away. Even if she just wandered off, which is horrible in its own, and she's in someone's barn, shed, under a bale of hay, I mean, you name it, fell into the river, you still keep the reward.
There are many questions that have been unanswered in this case, questions that could shed some light on where this little girl is and what happened to her. We will examine those questions and find some answers as the search for this little girl from Tennessee continues.
So this goes back to 2021. I mean, super high profile story and case, still unsolved. I want you to take a look at an image, and they do age progressions. She disappeared when she was 5. So they put together a progression last summer of what she would look like.
Now, some people get really upset about the age progression. They say, no, she looks 12. I agree, because at the age she is now, she wouldn't have adult teeth. She just wouldn't. So, I mean, I think the way that they did this, I think in a way it was to trigger Candace and Grandis, because she looks like Rose Bly.
At this new age, 3 years later. So you look at those pictures and it brings to mind, beautiful little girl. But what happened here? Which brings us to really the most important question. And my first question tonight, which is about this little girl from Tennessee. Where could she be? It seems there's a lot of possibilities of what happened here, and the case is far from being solved. I don't even know if there's any hot leads right now in this one. Let me bring in my guests who know a lot about this story, a lot about this investigation. Former homicide detective, host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough is with us. And private investigator Jason Jensen. Thank you to you both. Chris, let me throw that question out to you first. Where could she be? What are the possibilities that we're looking at here?
Yeah, it's a great question, Vinny. And for the last 3 years, thousands of people have been asking that particular question. And the possibilities from obviously a law enforcement perspective is it foul play? Is it an accident? And, because there was an accident, could they have covered up something? There's so many theories that could be applied to this. But that is the $1 million question at this point, because you and I both know that 5-year-olds, they just don't vanish from their house.
5-year-olds don't just vanish from their house. And they damn sure don't vanish from an unknown holler unless someone knows it. And as far as people saying the case is cold, according to the agent that was recently assigned from the TBI, he says it is not cold. It is not. Because the public doesn't have answers doesn't mean we're not working on it. And I think it's really sad for people to say things about Little Summer, and they say things like it's never going to be solved. They're never going to find her. Listen, this will get solved. And Jennifer Coffindaffer can suck my dick because she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. And after what I saw on Friday, I can tell you right now, she's getting another prize this week. was doing good there for a while. She was doing good. She was doing good. She got it again, and it's only Monday.
No, there's some intervening action, force, something. I want to take a look, Jason, at a timeline here so we can kind of go through this for the folks watching. June 15th, 2021, Summer Wells is reported missing around 6:30 p.m. Last seen somewhere around her home, outside her home. June 17th, the search expands to cover a 1-mile radius surrounding the home. June 26th, TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, looks for a red Toyota pickup seen in an area where Summer disappeared. Could have seen or heard something. June 26, 2021, Summer's brothers are removed from.
He has the dates wrong. And that's the reason Court TV needs to step up. Okay. It wasn't June 26th when the brothers were removed. It was in July. Okay. Lawson spoke to one of his former employees and said, why don't you ask YouTube why it took so long to call the authorities to help you find Summer? Now, some people jump up and down and say they only searched out 1 mile. Hey, look, you go walk a mile. I'm saying that to the people that complain. They also had drones. They got a special airplane from the Air Force. They've done their searching, but who hasn't?
From the home by the Department of Children's Services. October 31st, 2021, Don Wells, her father, is arrested for driving under the influence. February 4th, 2022, Summer's 6th birthday. February 4th, 2023, Summer's 7th birthday. June 14th, 2023, TBI released the age progressed photos that we're showing you.
Boy, this is getting frustrating, but we'll go ahead.
Then February 4th, 2024, Summer's 8th birthday. Then June 14th, 2024, TBI released a video update on the case. I want to take a look at that right now. Let's take a look.
When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. My name is Josh Melton. I'm the Assistant Director of the Criminal Investigation Division for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two.
All right, Jason Jensen, you've investigated so many cases like this. Where are you starting? What strikes you about the attempt to get to the truth here and get to the answer of where she could be?
Yeah, but the most important thing is to keep an open mind. Like the director just said, is they don't know which theory. There's really basically only 3 things that can happen in a disappearance involving a small child like that. Either a wander off or an abduction or a death and concealment. They've ruled out the death and concealment pretty much by doing the polygraphs with the parents, and they both passed. So we're really focusing on whether this child wandered off, got lost, and something happened to the child. That's why they did the mile radius search and then find her.
Wouldn't it be an easy assumption that she would have just wandered off on her own land and got lost? Wouldn't it? Of course, that was the first assumption. Of course it was. Now, they're saying that both Dawn and Candace have passed polygraphs. You know how I feel about polygraphs here. I don't care about them. You know why? Because they're not admissible in court. It's not a proven science. There are innocent people that have failed. There are guilty people that have passed. So we have 2 cases in Tennessee where it is stated that they have passed polygraphs. That would be Sebastian's family and Summer Wells' family. Another coinky-dink with these 2 families is that none of them have been cleared. If you look at the case of Elizabeth Smart, people that have nothing to do with her disappearance failed their polygraph. We know they have nothing to do with it. We look at the case of Michael Vaughn. His father failed his polygraph. Then they did what's called the optical polygraph, and he passed it. Ted Bundy passed his with flying colors. O.J. Simpson failed the first one and passed the second one. Either way, they passed their polygraph holds no water because they still haven't been cleared by law enforcement. Just like Sebastian's family. They are still not cleared by law enforcement. My question is, why did only Dawn and Candace take the polygraph? And yes, they do drug tests before you take them. Why did Grandis not take it? That is one thing that never comes up. And I'm not saying she did anything, but she was home during this evaporation of Summer Wells. Why did Grandis never take a polygraph?
So, there's a real possibility of the abduction. And you got to keep your mind open because we do know that this situation does occur. Like I have a case, the 1982 case of Rachel Runyon. She was abducted 15 feet from behind her home. So it can happen.
Let me ask you, Chris, the red Toyota pickup, what do we know about that vehicle? Why is that something that law enforcement talked about?
Well, first of all, the red Toyota pickup was introduced by the father of the victim.
Okay. This is totally new to everyone. Unless it's been said before and it just went whew, right over my head. Whew, right over my head. The red Toyota with the racks was introduced by Don. How would Don have seen the truck if he wasn't there? Let me tell you what, this has got my mind blown. Blown. Listen to it again. It makes more sense to me now that Robin, the Sunday school teacher, Sabbath day school, whatever she is at church, when she had the flyers and she kept marking out the red truck, because I was like, hold on. Why are you marking that out? You don't change anything like that. This is important. But in a small town, everybody knows what everybody drives. I can tell you what Linda drives. I can tell you what my neighbors across the street drive. I can tell you what my neighbor down the street drives. I can tell you what everyone drives. I can tell you what the people at the gas station drive. I can tell you. I'll be like, yeah, I've seen that before. But Dawn introduced this evidence.
Or death and concealment. They ruled out the death and concealment pretty much by doing the polygraphs with the parents, and they both passed. So we're really focusing on whether this child wandered off, got lost, and something happened to the child. That's why they did the mile radius search and then find her. So, you know, there's a real possibility of the abduction, and you got to keep your mind open, because we do know that this situation does occur. Like, I have a case, the 1982 case of Rachel Runyon. She was abducted 15 feet from behind her home. So it can happen.
Let me ask you, Chris, the red Toyota pickup, what do we know about that vehicle? Why is that something that law enforcement talked about?
Well, first of all, the red Toyota pickup was introduced by the father of the victim. It wasn't an independent witness or anything like that. The dad says, you know, there could have been a vehicle down at the end of the driveway, et cetera. And so we have to take into consideration, you know, what's the geographic region telling you as an investigator? And in this particular situation, the victim was last seen in the basement of the house. And so in order for a stranger abduction to have occurred, then that suspect had to know on that particular day, at that moment, that child would be in that basement. The victim risk continuum tells us that is a high improbability. And so you then go back to the situation where you go, okay, who was the last one there and what are the circumstances around that? And I think that's where the authorities have been focusing.
You know, Jason, when we cover stories like this that happen in more populated areas, you know, whether it's a neighborhood like Sebastian Rogers in another part of Tennessee, or in a city like Nashville, or, you know, any other city across the country. This is a very rural area. There, you know, it's not like you're in a neighborhood. There's not a lot of folks nearby. If someone comes by, I think you might notice it. It reminds me a little bit of the situation with Suzanne and Barry Morphew. Suzanne Morphew went missing from her home. They were kind of isolated as well. How important is that part of the investigation, the geography and the you know, where all this allegedly took place?
Well, yeah, terrain, especially in rural areas, plays a major part. Like basically Chris was alluding to, if it's not a high active area, you know, high access, you're not really going to have a lot of access by strangers. So the problem that we have here is, how did she get away from the house without being detected? Because in rural areas, everybody knows if there's a car nearby, you know, you're driving down the street, you see a truck pulled over to the side. In those kind of communities, they want to pull over and offer assistance. So access to the home, access to the child is really going to play a big part here. And that's why early on there was a lot of threats and harassment received by the Wells, because everybody thought it was a low probability that, you know, was an abduction.
Okay, Vinny's not liking that. You can tell he's got a smirk on his face because, you know, this guy, he's a private investigator. He's never been behind the badge. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He thinks if someone passed a polygraph, then they're in the clear. They haven't been cleared by law enforcement. And I am not saying that they did anything. You have Leslie Earnhardt that says early afternoon. We know the 911 call came in the evening around 6:30 p.m. So private investigators can do great work. And sometimes they seem to kind of like cloud people's vision. I don't care about a polygraph in any case. Any case.
Okay, guests are staying with us. Coming up next, what does the family property actually look like?
Where would the suspects have been, in your opinion, in this?
My opinion?
Yeah, in this area.
They could have been sitting anywhere. They could have been sitting over here, just off the little edge right here, or where the bus is, that little bushy area right there. They could have been sitting
Right out here.
Yeah.
OMG. So there's Chris McDonough that understands the probability of her being kidnapped from the top of the hill. She's like, they could have been sitting in the bushy area. They could have been behind the bus. Hold on, you were in the yard gardening, supposedly. But before, you said you were doing dishes, you were doing laundry, you were pouring cereal, and she just walked out the door. Then we get the gardening story, planting succulents. And she wanted to go in the house. Candace holds her hand and walks her to the door. Then goes back in and asks the boys, where is she at? Okay. Doesn't work that way. Nobody walks in their house and instantly starts taking attendance. Why that day, when it's a nice day, did Summer, who's a social butterfly, decide to go play independently by herself, not out in the sunshine, not on her swing, not sitting outside? She wanted to be in the basement to play. And we've seen those broken ass toys. But we've got Southern Homes and Living here trying to tell us that all of this happened that day.
Yeah, and
Okay, come show me.
What's up?
That's all right.
And I just recently found out that there was like, I guess he's a child molester.
Okay.
That lives like literally 8 minutes from my house. And he can literally walk from his house into my house within 8 minutes.
Okay.
And like that bushy area right there, you can't really tell if anybody's crouched down there or anything.
That's Chris McDonough at the home with Summerwell's mother, walking the property, trying to figure out what's going on there, because this is a case where a child is alleged to have disappeared in the middle of the day from that property, which brings me to my next question, another important one in this investigation, which is, what does the family property look like? Still with me, Chris McDonough, who was touring the property along with Jason Jensen. So guys, what I want to do, Chris, I want to show everyone the tour that you did. I think it gives us incredible insight here. Let's take a look.
Anyone find it odd that the dogs are present when anyone else visits, but the day Summer went missing, there was no dogs around, according to Dawn, who supposedly wasn't there? So the dogs were on a Caribbean cruise the day that Summer evaporated into thin air. But anytime anyone else shows up, they're all over the place. Yeah.
Hey. You know, I have much more respect for what you're telling me by standing here.
Yeah.
And I got my little camera here, so when I'm looking at this terrain, and I'm going, holy cow! She could have even. There's a million possibilities here.
Yeah, there's
down there, and there's the road down there.
Yeah, that's the road. And that's my mom's house.
Okay.
Like literally, it's.
And this right here.
Usually you can see the road because they have went through here and mowed and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
Okay.
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
That day, though, how was it? Was it full up, or
They
was it like this?
that day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Okay.
So I've even come to a conclusion maybe one of them people have snatched it.
Oh, interesting.
Because they were all the way up here.
Yeah, I see those.
Yeah, the damn tree trimmers. Like they had nothing else to do. Like they had nothing else to do. She thought a tree trimmer came up and snatched her. I mean, I get where she's coming from. I get it. But it doesn't make sense considering every one of them have been talked to and vetted heavily. Why are they cleared and Dawn, Candace, and Grandis are still persons of interest? Max, this is disgusting to give this sicko airtime. Max, do you want to grab the link? Is there something wrong? Here, let me put the link up real quick. Let's see what's going on with Max.
The path down there. I see the tracks down there.
Yep.
You're over there.
And they were all the way up here to my light pole.
Okay. And you told TBI all this, right?
I told TBI this, yes.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, I can see the cars going by. That is not far from your property.
Mm-mm.
Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around the property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch, inch or two. Okay.
You'd be lucky to get wet enough to do anything.
Okay. So walk me through. You get home. You take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's
okay.
not.
Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this lawnmower is. But I opened the doors up and I shook her. I said, "Wake up, we're at home." She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, "Come on." I said, "Mom, I'll be right back." Well, went in there and got the boys and they were sitting at the table. And I said, "Come on, let's get the groceries out." And we brought them all in the house, went through them all, did all that.
And this is her. That's her swing.
That's her swing right there.
Come show me her swing. Why is this? And who's this?
That is Smoking Boots. That's my boys' cat.
And how many dogs do you have here on the property? About.
Honestly, I don't know because people just keep dropping them off.
Hi. I know.
How can you not know how many pets you have? She's like, people just keep dropping them off. People just keep dropping them off. Look, it's not like you get food stamps for dogs, but come on. You take them to the Humane Society. You put something on Facebook, which she knows how to use, and say, somebody dropped off a puppy.
Okay. Sorry. So this is her swing.
That's her swing.
This is her playground.
Yep.
And she loved this area. Boy, you know, I'm looking at this and this terrain, Candace, just strikes me as being so dense and just. Is that they say the dog trail? Where's this dog trail thing? That
I'm not sure, honestly.
There's so many of them.
The dogs go in every different
Yeah, I
way.
saw the dogs came out of the woods as we were pulling up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do that all the time.
Okay.
That trail right there, my boys, they ride those dirt bikes that are leaning against the truck over there.
Okay.
You can see there's one of them.
Okay.
And they
those are like 50 cc's, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one ain't. I think it's only like 25, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they go down that trail with their dirt bikes and then come back up on the road, up on the driveway and go around and stuff.
Okay, again, I'm not saying Candace did anything to her daughter. I'm not saying Non did. I'm not saying Grandis did. But how can the two adults that we know for a fact were home that day not have any more information than poof, poof, she was just gone? We have dogs getting dropped off here all the time. I don't know where they come from. Well, that would be a problem, would it not? You don't know if the dogs have rabies. You don't know if they're dangerous. Yeah, dogs can be dangerous, regardless of what people think. You've got all this going on, and you're just in a cloud. Like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I asked the boys. Where's Summer? I go down into the basement, and she's not there. I look under blankets. I look under a filthy mattress. I look outside the basement door. I look down to the right because that's where she sits and she plays with her toys. Anyone think because she was still asleep when they were coming back from Allie's, dropping off Hunter, that they left her in the truck? That could be a possibility. There's so many possibilities nobody would even know. But remember, it was a good 4 hours before 911 was called. And there's no excuse for that.
A lot of that video, extremely interesting. So, Chris, what did you take away from touring that property where Summer Wells allegedly disappeared from?
Yep. So, wanting to keep an open mind, right, Vinny, when I'm talking to Mom, about trying to understand what the suspect may have seen if this was, let's stay with the lane of an abduction of some sort. And the terrain is so thick and dense. And by the way, this is only about 3 weeks after the initial report of her disappearance. So this is pretty much what it looked like the day she would have disappeared. And so I thought to myself, okay, is it possible that somebody could have hid in those woods, could have come up behind, the back area there behind the camper? Because you can see the road from the top of the property. But then again, you've got to think, okay, does the suspect expose themselves down on that road? Because you could even hear cars going by while I was there. And so Mom then explains that the only way she thought her daughter may have gone out of that house was through a basement door, which was on the left side of that house, looking at it in this shot. It would have been to the left of that. And that was down by the bus and right in that area, right there in that shot. That would have been what they call the dog trail. And so, the fact that somebody would have had to navigate all of these obstacles, et cetera, and that's the door, and get into that door to where Summer was, it really does raise a lot of questions about the abduction theory.
All right, Jason Jensen, the one thing that struck me as Chris is walking around the neighborhood, and Chris is a nice guy, he's not going to harm anyone, the dogs. They don't even know how many dogs. The dogs are alerting to Chris, who is obviously in a friendly mode there. What are your thoughts about the dogs on that property and the prospects of a little girl wandering away?
Diana, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and, being here to talk about Summer Wells. So many people have forgotten about her. Girl, that is too much. You are amazing. Thank you, Diana.
Without the dogs alerting, or someone taking her without the dogs alerting?
You know, Vinny, we were on the same mindset. When I was watching the video, from Chris, the thing that struck me the most was how many dogs were there. So obviously anytime a stranger would approach the home, I'm sure the dogs would bark at him, or at least gather down. Even friendly dogs will go down and greet somebody with tails wagging and everything. But certainly the first moment they're shocked by a stranger coming through the woods, they'd be barking and alerting the owners, I'm sure, is what their typical patterns are. I own dogs, and that's what my dogs do anytime someone approaches the front of the house. So I would think that in order for there to be any kind of viable abduction scenario, she'd have to wander off, like little girls do, chasing a butterfly or something, find herself far enough away from the home that she encounters somebody that shouldn't be there. That's about the only thing I can think of.
And Chris, with that scenario, going back to the property here, like I could see that happening in a much more densely populated place. You're at a park, you're at a mall, a child wanders off and can get scooped up, right? But here, it seems like there's a little more isolation. So someone would have to be lying in wait and just hoping that the child wanders away.
Yeah, absolutely, Vinny. And what you and Jason are talking about, just going back to the dogs for a second, when I pulled up, there were, I counted them, there were about 16 dogs that came out of the woods.
About 16 dogs that came out of the woods when Chris was there a few weeks later. But we are supposed to believe that the day that Summer evaporated, there wasn't a dog inside. We're also supposed to believe that the dogs are so dumb when they see someone, they don't bark. That doesn't happen. No way. I talk to my friend Ange on the phone almost every day, and her puppy dog Bruno, if he sees anything odd and he's inside his house, starts barking. Doesn't work that way. But we are led to believe that somebody could be in the bushes without 16 dogs around them, behind the bus, or just came up the dog trail with Candace and Grandis outside planting succulents, which, by the way, would take a hot 3 minutes at the most, and just knew exactly what door to go into and bring her out in the middle of the day undetected. Okay. Well, then I've got some oceanfront property to sell you in New Mexico.
16 when you pulled up.
When I pulled up, there were 16, and I asked her, where are all these dogs coming from? And Mom said that folks in the area just drop the dogs off in the neighborhood, and they all come up to that property.
Okay. To me, that speaks volumes. That is incredibly insightful in all of this. All right, Jason. So as you look at the property, there are other possibilities here. Without pointing a finger at anyone, but if something happened to her and someone wanted to dispose of those remains in that terrain, do you think it would survive the level of searching that was done?
I would think initially, yeah, because the scent of cadavers isn't so strong with a fresh death. But as time goes on, certainly cadaver dogs could pick up the scent. So, but initially you're looking for displaced soil where you could see that there was, some shoveling or something and replace.
Well, and he is right. This private detective, he's obviously watched a lot of forensic files. The cadaver dogs would pick up on it if she was deceased around there. I'm not saying she's deceased. I certainly don't want that. By the way, it is raining. Y'all have your umbrellas? Because our girl, Angel P, laid a very beautiful gift on one of you. And Barb Murray, thank you for the super sticker. I think you're like the 5th, 6th, or 7th member here. Don, Candace, and Grandis Amanus will get their just desserts. The dogs did not go on vacation. Also, Jen Soto asked her ex-husband to get a lawyer. Evil, all of them. I agree. And tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Madeline Soto. Is everyone going to be here for Madeline Soto? Because it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in.
Placement of soil or disturbance of vegetation if there was some kind of clandestine burial. Other than that, I would feel that TBI did a sufficient job with their search, as they've certainly moved on to other areas, including doing polygraphs. So it really kind of narrows it down. If it's not the parents doing some kind of concealment or some other hostile force, it's somebody from outside the home. And then the question really gets vague, who could that be?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your help. Wow.
Vinny doesn't seem impressed by the detective. And Chris McDonough looks like he's about to shit a brick. And yes, I said oceanfront property in New Mexico. I know the song. Everyone knows George Strait is my favorite. I just didn't want to be prompted to put the song on. Yeah, Chris looks like if he could jump through the screen right now, he would friggin' lose it.
Wow. Children don't just disappear. I'm Vinny Polite, and we'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
Has led to an answer. None of it has led to Summer. Where is this little girl from Hawkins County, and what happened to her?
So when you're searching for a missing person, especially a missing child, there's one question that really starts everything, which begins the investigation, and that's my next question, which is, where was she last seen? Absolutely significant in all of this. Let me bring in my guests who are going to help us. Former homicide detective and host of The Interview Room, Chris McDonough, has done a lot of investigating of this case, and forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, author, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. What I want to do, Chris and Dr. Carol, is take a look at what...
Snooze, you lose. Snooze, you lose, because old Vinny, he cut the PI and he kept Chris and brought someone else up.
Chris did, going inside the home and showing us the last place where Summer Wells allegedly was. Let's take a look at that.
Them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV, like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play. So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her bedroom.
Our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled, I said, Summer. And she didn't, I listened for a minute, I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this. Is this how I would get down here?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
No, I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man. Good grief,
No, I know
girl.
if my 6-foot husband can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he could fit, you can.
Oh, my gosh. Way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
That's all right.
But this is where Summer and Little Waylon was. because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they stay down here. And these are all her toys, all her Paw Patrols,
All her movies. She's got a movie about the Savior.
The boys I brought back down here after she went missing because I didn't want them upstairs by themselves anymore.
Okay. And this is all her toys.
These are all her toys. All these toys that are down here are all hers, except for like the trucks and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the game system. That's the boys'.
Okay.
But they were all her toys.
And she's really into Paw Patrol.
You know what? And I'm glad that Chris was packing. And I don't mean when he's packing for his wife, because I'd be scared as shit to go down there. I would be scared to get down there. You know, when he said, can we just go in the door? Oh, no, you can come down this way. Thank goodness, you know, he's seasoned. Because I wouldn't go down there, even with the damn steak knife.
I see that.
I've been collecting from day one. And these are all her little ponies that we've bought. And then these are them girls that she likes. Them new fashion, I don't know what they are, little princesses or whatever. She's like all kinds. Here's one of them bracelets.
Oh, that's just one of them what do they call these? Oh, this is little pony bracelets.
Yeah, I don't know what they were really called, but she liked them, and so I just, every time I go to the garage sale, I'd buy her what she wanted.
Okay.
You know, whenever I got a little bit of money, I spend it on the kids.
Yeah, this is her, I understand her now.
Yeah.
Even better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is really important.
Yeah, I come down and I search.
Okay. The first time I watched this, the absolute first time, when I heard Chris McDonough say, I understand her now, I about passed out. Not gonna lie. I just about passed out. I could not believe it. For a seasoned detective who has seen it all, has seen all of it. Hello, Dawn Grandma 3. Love you too. Someone who has seen it all, for him to say, I understand her now. This is really important. And Dum Dum, she's like, you're welcome. You're welcome. She doesn't even realize what she's showing him. But she thinks it's a compliment. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Everyone knew what he was saying, whether you're in law enforcement or not. We all knew what he was saying. And there's Mom Patrol going, he goes, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I looked up underneath the beds under there. We can't really get on. I can't get under there.
Yeah.
But I looked under there, looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here and I looked on one side and see underwear. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard on. But I know I did come out there and I said, Summer, because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, and usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Oh, okay. So this is like her.
Yeah, she
come running out. Yep. Oh, yeah. You can see the path here.
Right to the swing.
Right. You can see where she could have run right up to
here. And this is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go out nowhere else.
Okay, Chris, the house itself, and to get down to her room, is that like a little tunnel or something?
Yeah, Vinny, I mean, to be honest with you, I was blown away when I first, when she says, down into the basement, and I couldn't see what she was talking about. So she took me around that little bar thing there, and there was this hole cut out, and that stairwell was about probably 20 inches wide. And then when you got down into that stairwell, you can see how dark it was in that basement. There were two light sources immediately, one from the door, and then the second was from a small window that was covered, but it was getting through some light. And then there was a single light bulb in there. And it was, in my opinion, I told her I had a better understanding of Summer because I had a really difficult time trying to figure out why a 5-year-old just arbitrarily would take off down into that basement, to play with her toys while her brothers are upstairs. And that's who she wanted to go into the house to see.
Right. The story was I want to go be with my siblings, but they're upstairs. Dr. Carol Lieberman, the other thing that strikes me here, not being judgmental, it's just there's a lot of clutter in this house. It's a little, does that tell you?
It's a fire hazard. There's live wires hanging around. Yeah, it is. It's dangerous.
You anything about what's going on in this house? Like the physical state of the I don't want to say cleanliness, the order in the house?
Yes, of course. And, I watched a number of Chris's videos, and a lot of times he says to her, I don't mean to be judgmental, or I don't want to be judgmental, and he isn't. And I think people seem to be looking everywhere, but, not wanting to confront, on a deeper level, the parents. First of all, like letting the dogs, you were saying that says a lot, the fact that they have all these dogs roaming around and that they let people drop them off. People just come and they drop their dogs off. There is a carelessness. There's alcohol abuse. There's drug abuse. There's a carelessness of taking care of the kids. The kids, her brothers are now taken by Child Protective Services. So what does that tell you? And there was supposed to have been abuse. They took them because of being abused, and so many other things. For example, the fact that she was sleeping down there with her. She was 5 and her brother was 9. Now I know when houses are cramped and so on, you kind of have to sleep together, but. And then there's the fact of the shed, that the father apparently went to look in the shed when he heard that his daughter was missing. Why would he think what was going on in that shed that he would think that his daughter would go there? The mother lied about the drink. She said, I think that at least she said a different story than one of the children said. She said that it was like a soft drink, and he said that it was a twisted tea. And then she said about and then if there was porn playing in the parents' bedroom. It's a house of horrors. So anything could have happened to the poor little girl.
So, Chris, being inside that house, what's your takeaway from the place where she is supposedly last seen?
Well, Dr. Lieberman nailed it. This was an obvious situation of there's a lot more here that we don't know yet. But my takeaway was the most striking piece of it was the bedroom next to the child's room. And then the conversations between, the parents made on the news about Summer would sleep with them. Immediately with the information that was on the TV, my red flag started to go up from an investigative aspect that, there may be other things happening here. We don't know that for sure. But certainly this child did not walk out that door, nor did I believe at that moment that a stranger came in and took her out that door. There was definitely some foul play in motion here.
And Dr. Carol Lieberman, how about?
And the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agrees with Chris's opinion that foul play is involved. They said we cannot rule out foul play. That's the reason we have a criminal investigation. People ask why there's not a criminal investigation with Sebastian. I would say, well, there probably is, considering the FBI has a reward out. So let's just not jump to conclusions when it comes to, with what they're doing. We will find out all the answers when it comes to trial. I guarantee we will, because it all has to come out then. Pruitt said there is no belief that there's no evidence, not belief, that she was trafficked outside of the area. They believe she's around there somewhere. And at this point, 3+ years, how could she survive? How could she? And that's horrible to think about.
Getting information from the young siblings, how
Yes.
difficult is it to extract information from them?
Well, of course, they're going to have loyalties to some degree to their parents, not want to tell on their parents. But I think that's probably the best chance. Like if they each develop a good relationship with a therapist, a trusting relationship, and it's a good therapist, I think a good therapist could eventually get some information from them, gradually, that could give some clues.
Big thank you. Chris McDonough, The Interview Room, incredible investigation of this case and so many cases. Everyone needs to check that out. And Dr. Carol Lieberman, your insight, expertise is so valuable to us. Thank you so much. Still to come, is Summer's mom telling the truth?
I'm giddy. I really am. Because I am so glad that someone is breaking it down. Even if he might have some dates wrong. Hey, sleuth. Even if he's got a few dates wrong. The fact that he's flat out coming out is her mother telling the truth. Now, Detective Pruitt said that they have all the digital evidence back. We also know they had to bring in special towers, special radios, and everything to communicate in order to find, well, they didn't find Summer, but to look for Summer. We can't exactly depend on digital forensics in that area. Like in the case in the Panhandle with the God's Misfits. So many people, Jennifer Coffindaffer was one saying, oh, the digital evidence will tell everything. And I was like, are you kidding me? You can't even get a radio station out there. You think you're going to get a cell phone signal? The digital could be non-existent. None. But the heat-seeking drones would have noticed a freshly dug up area, would have definitely noticed a human child running around.
You went back in?
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff.
Okay.
Around the house like we normally do.
One of the most successful true crime TV shows ever.
This is crazy.
Now has a new home on America's original true crime obsession, 48 Hours on Court TV.
Haven't asked you that you want to let them know.
Not really, just hope that everybody that's looking for her, that we can find her and bring her home safely.
Okay.
She was very precious to me.
One part of the disappearance of Summer Wells that has been interesting is that the parents have been very open to speaking. They've spoken to television stations. They've spoken to YouTube investigators like Chris McDonough, like you just saw there. They've spoken publicly about this case and have told their story. Take a listen now to Summer's mother telling the story of what happened when Summer disappeared.
to walk me through. You get home, you take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this lawnmower is. But I opened the doors up and I shook her. I said, "Wake up, we're at home." She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, "Come on." I said, "Mom, I'll be right back." Went in there and got the boys and they were sitting at the table. And I said, "Come on, let's get the groceries out." And we brought them all in the house, went through them all.
And
all that.
so what happens when she comes in? The boys are playing where?
No, the boys are actually sitting here.
Okay.
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
Okay, so they're at the table watching TV. Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. kind of
Okay.
thing.
Watching TV. Where's Summer?
Summer, she was with me.
Okay, so walk me through that.
All right. Well, we walked up in here and we got Josie, Wyatt, and Waylon, the boys.
Right.
Well,
you put the groceries down. Right.
Yeah. Well, we went back out and then we brought the groceries and put them down. And then Mom, she took her stuff to her house, put her stuff away.
Okay.
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over, put our stuff away.
Okay. You went back in.
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff.
Okay.
Around the house like we normally do. And I come out, Mom was sitting there at the time I come out and I'm standing here. I was like, "What are you doing? What are you staring at?" She's like, "These plants, I gotta get them transplanted." I was like, "Well, Summer will help us." So I went back in. By that time, she was sitting on the floor playing with her toys.
Right here?
No, in the kitchen where we were just at.
Okay.
She was actually sitting on the floor playing with the toys at that time. I said, "Summer, you want to help plant flowers?" And she jumped up, left her toys in us. Of course, that's cool.
Yeah,
Then we walked
that's
over
what
here.
kids do. It's their job.
What?
Okay.
We walked over here and we transplanted these cactuses from the little pots that they were in. And transplanted these ones here into this bigger pot and that one.
By the way, succulents could have lasted in those pots for 5 years. Okay? They don't grow very fast. They don't hardly need water. But they just had to get it done that day. Sal said this is where the BS story starts, in my opinion. Let's think about when Can't was arguing with people online June 16th instead of looking around her own property for Summer. And she gave 3 different stories. We have a whole playlist on Summer Wells. I spoke about this very early on, and I went through all of her different stories. I was pouring her a bowl of cereal. I was doing laundry. I was doing dishes, and she just walked out the door. Oh, okay. But then somehow it changed to we were transplanting succulents as if they're growing out of the pot. Okay? They're not friggin' roses. They're succulents. They could have lasted in those pots for another 5 years, and y'all don't take care of anything, including your kids, your home, and your animals.
One in that bigger pot. And she took the rocks that we've gotten from different gem mines when we went up to Gatlinburg and stuff.
Okay.
And she's the one that spreaded all the rocks around in here. And then she put her puppies in here because she wanted Chase in there, you know.
Okay.
That was cool.
Where are those puppies now?
What do you mean?
Oh, the little puppies,
The
her ruins.
Yeah, these little.
Oh, yeah, those little guys. Oh, that's Paw Patrol.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the police one.
Yep, that's Chase. He's always on the case.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I see another one over here.
She put him in there. Yeah, you're on the cactus.
Okay. Don't take those out, okay?
No, I leave them right there.
I know.
And then we went in my mom's where we can't get in there.
Yeah, that's fine. Went in there.
We went in there and got some candy and stuff she gets from grandma.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm going to go back over to the house. She wanted to go back, so I said I'd go back, you know.
Okay.
And I brought her, I literally walked over to here. Like literally walked right to here where I could see the boys and on the kitchen table.
Got them.
And I watched her walk in there. And afterwards, when she was already in there, I walked over and said, "Quiet." And he looked at me and I said, "Watch Sissy, I'll be right back." And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids." And that's when I come back up into the house.
Okay.
With the boys.
Okay.
Not that.
You walked into the house.
Well, I walked into here. Get up. Get up. I walked in here and them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV. Like I went. And I said, "Boys, where's your sister at?" Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play.
Okay, so there's the story. Here's the story.
I love how Vinny says that. Okay, so there's the story. So there's the story. Well, look at that. Look at that. And remember, anyone that's asking for a music break, only Pat K decides when it's time for a music break. It's Pat K's world. I'm just living in it. Hashtag WWPD. But there it is. That's the story.
Story, which brings me to my next question. And it's about the story told by Summer's mom. Is Summer's mom telling the truth here? Is there anything she's saying or doing with her body language that indicates deception? Let me bring in my next guest who's going to help us through all this. Body language expert and New York Times bestselling author of the book, You Can't Lie to Me. Janine Driver is with us. Janine, great to see you.
Uh-oh. Okay, Pat K has said it's time for music. Okay. The man, him, that's the man right there. That is the man right there. I've seen him in concert more times than Fat Garth. But don't tell our friend Gaelic that, because she loves Garth. She loves Garth.
Watch Sissy, I'll be right back. And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids." And that's when I come back up into the house.
Okay.
With the boys.
Okay.
Not that.
You walked into the house.
Well, I walked into here. Get up. Get up. I walked in here and them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV. Like I went. And I said, "Boys, where's your sister at?" Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play.
Okay, so there's the story. Here's the story, which brings me to my next question. And it's about the story told by Summer's mom. Is Summer's mom telling the truth here? Is there anything she's saying or doing with her body language that indicates deception? Let me bring in my next guest who's going to help us through all this. Body language expert and New York Times bestselling author of the book, You Can't Lie to Me. Janine Driver is with us. Janine, great to see you.
Nice to see you, Vinny.
She's very open. I mean, Chris is not the only person she spoke to, but she gave an in-depth walking around telling exactly what her story is. What did you see? What did you hear from her?
Listen, it's not a slam dunk that, sometimes I watch someone and I immediately say, "Oh, this person's lying." That's not happening here. And with that being said, there are some hot spots that if I had an opportunity to ask her, I would ask some additional questions. And what are some of the hot spots? She says, "Actually, I opened the truck," when talking about coming home. The word actually, and we've weighed in on this before, Vinny, and you at home, actually is comparing two things. Did you buy the blue truck or the red car? Actually, I bought the blue truck. We know what you're comparing. When someone says, "Actually, I opened the truck," as opposed to what? So this, to me, would be the question, as opposed to what? Anytime you see that or hear that word in a text or email or in a conversation, ask as opposed to what. She says it again. "I was actually watching TV." She says the boys were in the other room and I was actually here watching TV with her daughter. Then she does go outside and she scratches her head, which is a pacifier. The higher the hold, the more anxiety is told. The closer we get to the brain, the more stress and anxiety. It makes sense. Her daughter's missing. So she scratches her head. Then she does an elbows out like this. We saw Chris Watts do this, Vinny. You may remember when the police saw.
I like this chick. I like this chick a lot. And I have always wondered, in my opinion, allegedly, the whole 9 yards, wondered if maybe Summer was left in that truck. And you hear Candace say, actually, she says there's no air conditioning. There's nothing like that. I don't like air conditioning. I mean, ask me what I did this morning. I took my husband to work. He got his things out of the back of the truck. He walked around to the side, opened the door, gave me a kiss. I tried to cop a feel of little Greg. He said, "Oh, stop that." He said, "Let me know when you get home." There was no actually to it. That's what happened.
But, sometimes I watch someone and I immediately say, oh, this person's lying. That's not happening here. And with that being said, there are some hot spots that if I had the opportunity to ask her, I would ask some additional questions. And what are some of the hot spots? She says, actually, I opened the truck when talking about coming home. The word actually, and we've weighed in on this before, Vinny, and you at home, actually is comparing two things. Did you buy the blue truck or the red car? Actually, I bought the blue truck. We know what you're comparing. When someone says, actually, I opened the truck, as opposed to what? So this, to me, would be the question, as opposed to what? Anytime you see that or hear that word in a text or email or in a conversation, ask as opposed to what. She says it again. I was actually watching TV. She says the boys were in the other room and I was actually here watching TV with her daughter. Then she does go outside and she scratches her head, which is a passive.
When people say honestly or actually, they're trying to convince you. Listen, the truth comes out very fluidly. Even when little Greg's talking to me. That's for a different show. That has to be a members live, which, by the way, we have a very important members live on Friday. But when someone is trying to convince you, they will use words like, well, truthfully, well, no shit. I expect you to tell me the truth. Well, actually, I just opened up the door. Or, well, honestly, my husband knows I'm lying to him. Actually, see, I'm using that verbiage. My oldest son let my husband into the secret. He said, if mom ever goes, yep, I did it, she's not telling you the truth. Or if my mom says, well, you know what, in all honesty, and so Greg looks for that all the time. And I'm like, damn it. Why are my kids not on my side? Try to lie to that bastard all the time.
Actually, I bought the blue truck. We know what you're comparing. When someone says, actually, I opened the truck, as opposed to what? So this, to me, would be the question, as opposed to what? Anytime you see that or hear that word in a text or email or in a conversation, ask as opposed to what? She says it again. I was actually watching TV. She says the boys were in the other room and I was actually here watching TV with her daughter. Then she does go outside and she scratches her head, which is a pacifier. The higher the hold, the more anxiety is told. The closer we get to the brain, the more stress and anxiety. It makes sense. Her daughter's missing. So she scratches her head. Then she does an elbows out like this. We saw Chris Watts do this, Vinny. You may remember when the police officer went into the neighbor's house. He had a camera on his uniform, and Chris Watts is watching footage of the neighbor watching him load something into the truck, which we later find out is Shanann and his 2 young daughters, Celeste and Bella, were supposedly still alive at that point. When we see Chris Watts see that footage, he goes like this. Elbows out, shock is about. So we see this in law enforcement all the time, or if you are a first responder, you'll often see this. The World Trade Center crumbled down. You see people do these elbows out. Basketball players, Caitlin Clark, love her. Caitlin Clark, right? If she misses a ball, doesn't happen often, but you might see elbows out right here when a play doesn't go the way we want it to go. So this is shock is about, there's a problem here. She does use past tense. Past tense is indicative of someone telling the truth. She jumped up. I'm not hearing tense changes, which would be indicative of someone creating a story. We went and we got candy and stuff. I'd want to know what's and stuff. And we literally walked. Now, this word literally walked is confusing to me because why literally? We just walked here. Isn't everything literal that you're telling us? There's an expression we like to use, Vinny, and you at home. Truthful people convey. Liars try to convince. So we literally walked over here. Why the literally? Instead of we walked here, and then we walked here. Is she overselling at this point? That's a hot spot for me here. We literally walked. And then she said, we just went outside to play, or we just went downstairs to play. Oh, about her sons. When she asked, where's Summer? She just went downstairs to play. The word just is a minimizing word. Can I ask you just a couple questions, Vinny?
Oh, it's going to be more than a couple.
Can I ask you just a couple? So just is a minimizing word. So there are some verbal spots of stress and some nonverbal concerns I have, but this is not a 90% she's telling the truth. This is a 50-50, if not 60% telling me the truth. And riding that edge of 40%, there's more to the story.
Right. And the thing that struck me is.
So then let's just say that this is a hot car death. Okay, let's just say that. Unless Josh from the lab has changed his mind, he has always said this is an accident that was covered up. Okay? Then who found her in the truck? Maybe Candace didn't do anything except for leave her daughter in the truck. There is one woman that used to be around here. Excuse me, my throat. I got a frog in my throat. I get some water. There is a woman that used to be around here all the time, and she was always eyeing Grandis. Always, 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 always. Now listen. I'm not saying it's Grandis's fault. It does make you wonder what Summer was given that day and how she can just go to sleep so easily. Because a child her age would be able to pop up and say it's hot and get herself out of the truck. And Grandis was there. Why did Grandis not take a polygraph? Again, not that I care about polygraphs. We heard her speak to the news. Mama, she love you, love you. Exactly. Zach Walker, look at the screen. The cover-up, though, is not an accident. I think think Grandis might have her times confused when she said she came to that tuna can on wheels and got a piece of candy. The piece of candy might have been for the ride home. Who the hell knows what Cant was doing that afternoon? The question is, where in the world is Summer? Why did law enforcement call it a case outside the norm? Why? Let's go ahead and take an unofficial poll. Do you believe this was an accident or not? Kat OG said they went swimming. I think she said it was a horse pond, if I remember, per Grandis. Exactly. Grandis puts herself outside of this situation altogether. Broken Golf Doll said, not an accident. No. Angel Girl, absolutely not. Nufflin, no. She says no. But Grandis says everything she can do. And that's going to be our next show about Summer. We're going to talk about Grandis. Sarah said she thinks she was sold. Tish said I go back and forth. Was she sold? T-Town or K-Town NJ said no accident, no accident, no accident.
As I watched her, she just seemed very comfortable, right? A man's got a camera, is asking you questions. The world is going to see it, and there's a level of comfort there. So I'm kind of with you on all that. So we're just about out of time, but like zero, I guess you said 60%. You feel like this is very truthful, but there's something else to the story. And
this comfort that you're talking about, Vinny, the comfort, that's out of place, right? Your daughter's missing. Where is the fear and the sadness? This is the thing that concerned me with Chris Watts when I watched him. Two things didn't appear.
I get sick of people bringing up Chris Watts all the time. You can't compare the two cases. I mean, unless you're just comparing criminals. I don't know. You just can't. But we don't know if Candace is a criminal. You can compare body language, but you have to be really careful about that. Well, we have a lot of stuff to go through. And I mean a lot. Well, one thing I want to say is thank you so much for being here. I know I've had a few emails lately. People wanting to know why I'm not talking about Sebastian's case. It's just become too much anxiety for me. I will get back to it. We will continue to talk about Sebastian. Not because I don't think Sebastian's important. A few people have asked, why aren't you talking about Delphi anymore? I can tell you very easily, because it scares the hell out of me. It scares the damn hell out of me. Look, if I want to watch a scary movie, I got Netflix. Shit. I get through a few minutes of that. About shit my pants. No way. But I want to say thank you to the Mod Squad. I know we had a couple of problems in here today. Hey, what? Let me tell you what. 2 out of 400 is not a problem. And I want to say thank you very much to Zach Walker. Gifted 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. GB Folk. Gifted Crime Lines and Lies memberships. We have many, many returning members like Radio Gods, Butterfly Kisses, Pat Case gifted memberships, Real Rock and Robin, Kimberly Mann, Angie Baby, Angel P, had some super stickers, have a lot of amazing people around here that come back for the right reasons. All right, so never judge me for my football predictions, okay? But I'm going to keep those coming. I have a video that's coming up in a little bit. We're going to premiere. It's a case out of West Virginia that's going to knock your socks off. You guys are the absolute best. Make sure you stay reminded and remember, we are live every day at 9 a.m. Central Time. You all are the absolute best. Thank you for being here.